All right. Hey, everyone. So good to see you guys. Happy Monday. Okay, so tonight we are going to kind of hit part 2 of what we talked about last week. So last week we talked a little bit about fear of failure and how we all experience it, right? How it is normal. Bless you, Victoria. I was looking at you when you sneezed. How it's normal, how we all struggle with it. And I encourage you guys to celebrate failure, right? Like, let's normalize it. Let's celebrate it because it is part of the process, right? So I wanted to start off this week by asking you guys, does anyone have a failure to celebrate? Anybody? No one like bombed this week at anything? Like nothing
I
went.
posted the magic post and had like one person who's on the products like hit like. That was it.
Perfect. Yep. I've definitely experienced that, Alicia.
I don't know if this is like a failure. Like, I don't think it's a failure, but it didn't go as expected, I should say. So I had one of my level ones, she has a lot of people interested. So she had the idea of doing a Zoom call with all of them. And so we did that right before this, and we like reminded people and everything, but no one hopped on. That was okay. We did record and we're going to upload it onto YouTube. So I wouldn't call that a failure. It was awesome, but like it just wasn't as expected. We were hoping for people to be on.
Yeah, not what you expected, but you pivot, right? Like you pivot, you recorded it. Who knows? Maybe you'll still see fruit from it, but we have to celebrate the effort, right? Like, and remember this with your new people that are sharing too. Like, we always want to celebrate the outcome, and that's awesome. Like we do celebrate the rank ups. We do celebrate like, getting a ton of engagement on a post, but also like call out the effort, celebrate the effort. When someone does a shout out post, make sure you say like, I'm so proud of you just for doing it, right? Because we know it's the effort repeated and repeated and repeated that will get us the results that we're looking for. So yeah, let's just continue to remember to normalize failure, to realize that when we fail, we are learning. Like Alicia said, learning moment, definitely. But I also wanted to share with you guys just a couple of helpful things, as we are expecting failure and as we're working through failure and we're fighting against that fear of it, there are some helpful tools. And I think Lori is going to share more with us on this as well. But one of the things that can be really helpful is Mel Robbins' 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who's familiar with that? She did speak at one of our, I think it was convention, right? She was a convention speaker the one year, and she's like real big on Instagram, and just this really simple, like when you have something that feels scary to do, just counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then doing it and not giving yourself the opportunity to not do it, like committing to it. And then what happens is you basically retrain your brain that like you can do hard things and you become trustworthy to yourself. Like you keep the promise to yourself that you're going to do the hard thing and you keep showing up and doing it. And then what happens is that thing becomes less scary, right? And so when you encounter the next challenging thing, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go do it. So that's a really, really just simple, so easy to implement thing. I was also reminded today when I was listening to a podcast, Kristen Boss has a couple new really good episodes, and I shared one with a few of you, but the 80-20 rule. And this doesn't just apply to your business, but like so many things. And that is that 20% of the effort that you put in is giving you 80% of the results, right? Like we do a lot of things. We like to be very busy. And if you're like a high producer type person, sometimes you feel like the more work you're doing, the more like valid you are, or, you should have better results. But at the end of the day, it's the 20% that produces 80% of your results, right? So it's not always more work or more effort that's going to give you better results. It's really just doing the right kind of things, those 20% things. But what happens is we have a lot of fear, right? Fear of failure, like we keep talking about, or resistance come when we're in that 20% zone, when we're actually doing the things that move the needle. And Victoria and I were chatting about this earlier today, of just like that resistance that always comes, right? Like when you're about to get in the zone and you're about to do the hard things, there's always resistance. So any struggles this week that you guys want to share? Like what resistance pops up for you when you're about to do the things that are going to make an impact and move the needle. I'm trying to get comfortable with silence because usually I just fill the space with talking. But any examples like resistance? I can think of a few. Like I will start scrolling social media. Like I will buffer, or I'll just like go to my chats and like just start talking, right? Like just team stuff, like, oh, I got to go do this and like make myself feel busy instead of doing like the thing that I know I need to do.
So Brittany mentioned this to me the other day. This is something I do. I feel like this is maybe a form of resisting at first. So when I read a message, like I will heart the message. Okay. You guys probably are like, Victoria hearts everything. My brain, this is me like saying, I see you, I acknowledge you, but I'm not ready to respond yet. So in some cases, that is a form of resistance because it might take a lot of like mental bandwidth for me to like come up with a response. Like it's not just a quick like, hey, how are you? You know what I mean? I can relationship build all day, but it might just be like, okay, I have to go find an answer for this, or this is going to take me more time. I can't answer it quick at a stoplight, but like I do find that sometimes that is a form of resistance. Like I'm acknowledging it and then I have to go back, which is almost more work. I'm just like answering on the spot.
Yes. Yeah. So I think, if you guys want to address the resistance that you have to think about what it is, right? What do you catch yourself doing? So like those buffers, right? For me, getting busy in Messenger instead of doing the thing I know I need to do, right? That's a buffer. Scrolling social media, that's a buffer. Guys, sometimes like complaining about the company or corporate can be a buffer, right? So if you're like, well, if they'd only do this, then I could be successful. Or, oh, I've got to, if I didn't have a customer service thing, then I'd be fine. Like that can be a form of resistance. And I see that popping up on our team sometimes too, right? So just be aware of those things that are buffers for you, or that you're avoiding doing the thing you need to do. Maybe you need to dig into your back office. Maybe you need to be, sending some bold follow-ups. Maybe you need to make an ask and it feels scary right now, or you need to do a confident business post, but the resistance is kicking in. That's all tied into that fear of failure, right? Because when we do the things in the 20% that are really moving the needle, it's a higher risk situation that we are going to fail. And so that fear kicks in. So be aware of what your resistance is, like what goes through your head when you are in that 20% zone, because we don't need to work more. We just need to do things that are effective, right? And we need to show up with confidence and have that energy that attracts people to us, be in that 20% that really moves the needle. Okay, but I want to give Lori a lot of time here. I know she's got a lot to share with us. Actually, Victoria asked if she would share. We were talking about, who are people that just seem like fearless, super bold. And Lori, you came to mind because we just love the way that you show up and just are confident. And so we asked if she would share just part of her journey with us and maybe some wisdom with us. So Lori, whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
Okay, so I've never done a Zoom before. So do I have to do anything before I start going on?
No, you're perfect. We can see you and hear you.
Okay, so this is, and it's funny that you say I'm bold and confident, because this is a huge, huge step for me, because anxiety is very strong in my family. So my story starts, so my grandma had a lot of anxiety, and that funneled through to my dad. And my dad even talked about that yesterday in his sermon, how anxiety gripped him so strongly. And he knew that at about age 19 or 20, God called him to start teaching Sunday school, but he was so gripped with anxiety to do that. So he would run to the bathroom before he would teach a Sunday school lesson. But he knew so strongly that he was supposed to do that. So he would, he kept forging ahead. But, for years, he was gripped with that anxiety that he just, dealt with. So fear was really something that, really, and really, I think he still deals with it a little bit today. So I struggled with that as a young person too. And I really didn't have a real sense of what I was dealing with. I was a real perfectionist. I wanted everything right. I was real fastidious about everything. And I was real tough on myself. So, and when you're hard on yourself, that translates to other people a lot of times, right? So then you're hard on yourself. So then you want to push people to do what you want them to do, right? Because you got to get those results to happen. So I had a lot of anxiety. So when I became a realtor, I was really passionate about becoming a realtor and becoming good in sales. And I wanted to become the best I could be. So I was very ambitious about that. But I had this anxiety I was dealing with. And it created a lot of internal angst and stress for me. And so, you know, part of sales is talking in front of people. And so I would join Rotary, you know, and I was in my early 30s at this time. And so it was hard. It's hard to pretend to be confident when you're not confident. So there I was pretending to be confident, but I wasn't. So I turned to external things to cope with that anxiety and that insecurity. And that led me down a really dark path that we know about. And so it took me a lot of years to work through all those things. So today I stand before you in recovery, and I can stand before you calm, confident, and I can talk about you. I talk about things. So that it just shows you the journey that I'm on and how much growth, you know, I've seen. And so I want to talk to you a few minutes about how I've gotten here and what has helped me. And that's what Victoria and I were talking about. So what are the things that help me sell Plexus? What have I learned through all this journey? So here's what I would tell you guys. Here's what I would say. I always think everyone's always looking for the magic secret sauce. What's the secret sauce of selling? Why do some people sell and some people don't? Why are some people so successful? What are they doing? I'll tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you right now. Some people believe in themselves and some people don't. I know who I am. I know what I believe in, and I know where I'm going. I can see a diamond right away. Can't you? When I hear a diamond talk, they believe in themselves. They believe in their product and they know where they're headed, and they'll tell you all about it. That's the secret sauce, because you're trying to get people to follow you. And if you don't believe in yourself, who else is gonna? That's the secret sauce. And life gets a lot easier when you settle that with yourself, because all that internal struggle stops, or a lot of it stops, because you know what? You know who you are. And so you don't have that internal struggle, and you don't have that internal struggle. You don't have that struggle with other people. And guess what? When you don't have that internal struggle, you can cheer yourself on and you can cheer other people on. And that's a win-win for everybody. Okay, next thing. As humans, we are more alike than we are different. We are more similar than we are different. So if I have a concern, if I have a fear, guess what? My customer probably does too. So if they say something to me, if they reject me, guess what? It's not personal. It's not about me. It has nothing to do with me. I was thinking the other night about Danielle, and I was thinking back to when I first ordered Plexus, and I remember thinking, who are these funny people with these hats and these earrings? And what are these products that they're trying to sell me? I understand none of this. My brain was not ready for any of this in 2021. And what if Danielle had spent a bunch of time thinking this was about her? It wasn't about poor Danielle. Danielle's been so gracious and patient with me. You know, this was about me. I needed to get ready for this. You know, I was on my own journey. So we need to be gracious to other people. It's not about us. We don't need to take things personally. So that really helps me when I'm selling to people. Nobody came to my sip and share, people. Nobody came to my sip and share. That's okay. That's all right. It worked out fine. We'll have another one. Next item. I don't have to be perfect. It's okay. You know what? People like authenticity. They love it when you are relatable. You don't have to be perfect. That's why you know, my, my poor mother, she's like, why do you have to share all this stuff? Why do you have to sell all this? You know why? Because it's too hard covering it all up. It's too hard. It's just easier telling the story, being honest. Like my counselor says, look, we're on chapter 14. If you want to sit over here on chapter 9, you can, but we're on chapter 14. That's not my problem. So being authentic, being honest, people appreciate that. And it just makes you a happier human being. And I think it makes you more productive and more successful. So that really helps me too. And I think the last thing I really think it's just a huge blessing for me is just the team concept and the team effort that we have. That is just such a blessing to me. You guys have no idea how much you have helped me. This has been such a blessing for me. I didn't have any idea any of this was going to happen for me. And this has really taken me to a place that it's really shifted me, and I needed this. And so this is just been a blessing for me. And then that allows me to be a blessing to other people. So I just think that we need to embrace that as much as possible. And when we do that, we multiply and we can bless other people and we bless each other when we do that. And I think that we all need to know our strengths and weaknesses, because I'm not strong in every area. Somebody else, Victoria, is strong in an area that I'm not strong in. And so when we all work together, that, you know, we really can multiply because we're working off each other's strengths and weaknesses. I love so much. Did anyone else read Alita's post tonight that she posted right before the meeting tonight? But she said, leaders eat problems for breakfast. And that, I just love that so much. Leaders eat problems for breakfast. Now, every day I eat breakfast, I'm just going to say I'm eating my problems. But that is just, you know, that's really the mentality that you have to have, because really it ends up, it's a daily thing, you know, but it's not really their problems. I view them more as challenges, because you have to look at it like that, because if not, you just get bogged down. And so, you know, I just look at things more as like challenges, and I have a long-term view, not a short-term view with Plexus. You know, I plan on being a part of Plexus for a long, long time. And I understand that things are going to take, you know, a few minutes to get to where I want, and that's okay. And the other thing I would say, if anybody ever needs some encouragement, message me, because I would love to encourage you. That's it. I'm done.
Lori, thank you. So good. Okay.
I didn't want to keep going on and on, so I tried to be very conscientious.
I think we could all listen to you for a long time, so don't worry about that. But okay, so just to kind of recap, Lori said, secret sauce is belief in yourself. If you don't know where you're going, who will follow you? And I remember someone else said, like, if you were going on a trip, right? And you told your girlfriends like, hey, we're going to go on a trip. Well, okay, where are we going, right? Like, are we flying? Are we driving? What's the destination? If you didn't have a clear plan, who would want to get in the car with you? They'd be like, no, like, you don't know where you're going, right? It's the same thing when we're presenting the business to people. Like, if you're like, hey, I'm headed to Diamond, I have a plan, we have an amazing team, I have systems in place, people feel confident joining you. They're like, okay, we know where we're going. We're trusting you. We're getting in the car. When we're like, I don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who wants to get in the car, right? So I love what you said. The secret sauce is knowing where you're going, believing in yourself. We are more alike than we're different. So don't take it personally. We don't have to be perfect, just be authentic, and realizing that we have something special here with our team. And Lori, you are such a great part of that. And like your energy, your encouragement, you've just already been such a joy and such an asset to our team. So thank you so much. I did ask Lori to leave a few minutes for questions or comments, and we do have that. So anyone want to either ask Lori a question or just comment on some of the things that she shared here? It was so good.
I'm just so proud of you, Lori. I love you for getting on this team call. I'm so sorry I've been absent like all of February. I'm like living a crazy life over here. but I just love that you hopped on team call and you are doing all the things that she says she is doing. She is really doing. Like, she is living and she is posting honestly and having honest conversations and doing all the things. So just keep it up and you are going to do amazing things.
Yeah, okay. I loved everything she said. Like, we can all relate to that, right? But one thing that stuck out to me, and it's true for all of us, like if you have that long-term mindset, like things are going to happen. But I feel personally like I am stuck in that long-term mindset. So at times, like I just can continually do the things. And because I don't have anyone running right now, I just keep telling myself, oh, it's fine. Like I'm in it for the long haul, which doesn't create momentum. So then there's that. So how do we combat that? I mean,
That's a great question. Lori, do you have a thought? You're muted. You're muted, Lori. Unmute yourself.
Okay, see, I did it. Oh, yay. Okay, see, you can teach an old dog new tricks. You guys have no idea how much I need to know. Okay, so I think that we need to think of new things to do. We need to switch it up. I was talking to Victoria earlier today, and I told her, I said, I think that the people like that are together down here, we need to do some things together. Like, I don't know how you feel, Nicole, but I would love to do some sip and shares together. How do you feel about that? You don't like that?
yeah, I do. Sorry, I couldn't unmute. Yeah, no, that would be fun. Like I do agree with that. And we had talked to Victoria about the same thing. And then listening to Power Hour today, like I literally got off Power Hour and I wrote down all the dates and I messaged my builders and I said, all right, girls, like ladies, you pick the dates. I will show up. I will bring everything we need. We will, kill this sip and mingle. And I'm not even calling it the sip and share anymore because I just really want it to be like what Caitlin started months ago. I think it's brilliant. So yeah, I think we should all do that. I think we would all benefit, and just
I think so
the
too.
amazing testimonies that each of us have are so different.
Exactly. And I think it would create a lot more excitement if we all do it together.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. And Nicole, I would challenge you, like there's a difference between a long-term mindset and complacency, right? And I'm not pointing that at you. I'm saying for myself, like I'm going to be here for 10 years. So it's kind of easy to get comfortable, right? Like, and I can just sit at Emerald, like I'm happy, we're good, right? But it has to be also about other people, right? That's what gets me out of complacency. Like I know there's other people who need the opportunity bad, who like they don't know how they're paying for their groceries this week and they need the community and they are riddled with anxiety and they need the products, right? Like there's so many people. So I think we need to find the things that push us out of complacency. Sometimes it's making our why stronger, right? Like making sure that we are focused on what's our mission, why are we here? And then as you guys like team up, do these sip and shares, sip and mingles, whatever, do them in a duplicatable way. So that's kind of my vision with these is like, okay, I'm getting my people together because I want to cast vision, right? So even your non-business builders, invite them, like say like, hey, it's a customer appreciation thing. Like just come, I want to buy you a cup of coffee or whatever, just come hang out. And then say like, hey, invite a friend, right? Like how can we make these things duplicatable so that it's loving on your team, loving on your customers. And then next time they bring a few people and then they sign up and the next time they bring a few people. And it's like, repeat. Like that's how you get new builders and get into momentum. But I think we all have to, especially those of us that have been here a long time, like have the long-term mindset, but push ourselves out of complacency and whatever that's going to take, if it's revisiting your why or, just having that vision of who else needs this, who else needs to be where I'm at right now.
And that's what new people do. New people regenerate and revigorate an operation or whatever. Yes. But seasoned people bring a valuable piece. So it's important that everybody does their part.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Good. Okay. That was great, Nicole. Great thought. Anybody else? Anything else that we can work through in these last couple minutes?
I have one quick thing. So I was listening to a podcast from my coach that I had this fall, and I love this question. It was about fear. And she said, when we have certain fears, we're always playing these, as Bob Hyland calls them, the red light stories, right? Like, what if this happens? What if this? What if that? What if that? But she's like, what if you decided not to fall into those stories, but choose like the possibility? And I know we've all heard this again, but I like the way she said, like, you have the choice. She's like, choose to think about the possibility versus the fear. Like, don't choose that. Be intentional and ask yourself, like, what is the possibility here? And I loved that, because I don't know, I just liked the way that was phrased, instead of like red light, green light story. That like resonated with me. Like, okay, what is the possibility if I overcome this fear and get into action? And she's like, every action has a reaction depending on, what you choose.
Yeah, that's so good. And if you're not sure what the things are, like what am I resisting? Ask yourself, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? If I took out the possibility of failure, what would I be doing? Right? Maybe it's going live or something. Like, the thing that you've been resisting will appear when you take away the possibility of failure. Or if you don't care what people think. If I just removed the fear from the equation, what would I do today to move the needle? Whatever comes to mind, that's probably the thing that you need to do. Of course, yes, the possibility of failure is there, but there's also the possibility of not failing, or failing and learning, right? Like normalizing that failure, not seeing it as the scariest thing ever.
That's so true, because you actually are going to fail. So normalize it.
Right. Celebrate it. Right. Like I said last week, I want in our 2023 chat, like when you bomb, put it in there and we can all laugh together. Like I told you guys, like I did a post that I thought was great and I lost 5 followers.
We should have a bomb chat.
Yeah, just send a bomb gif. Like, it's okay. It's really fine. And I think the more we normalize it, the less scared we'll be to do the things, because it's just part of the process. We're working with people, and people are messy and stuff gets weird, and it's okay. We can have a sense of humor about it. People are people. Yeah.
And so are we.
And so are we. Exactly. Okay, well, Lori, this was so good. Thank you so much for sharing. We are going to have you talk more at another call, because we loved hearing from you, right? Everybody's nodding like, yes, we loved it. We loved it. So much good stuff. Okay, so you guys have a wonderful week and share all the failures. Keep moving forward. Thank you again, Lori. Have a great night, guys.